Welcome to a Tracker tutorial by Danilo Alfarov and Omarez. Before you begin opening Tracker, take a video of a collision in the X-plane and have it imported into your computer and ready to go for when Tracker is opened. We have it over here on the right and it's labeled collision. We simulated the collision between two pool balls on a pool table. Step 1. Open Tracker. Once Tracker is open, this will be the screen that appears. In the top left, click on File, and then click on Open File, and find the video you filmed. Over here we have it called Collision. Open the video. You can just click Close, OK, and Close. The video has been imported into Tracker. We have previously trimmed the video so it is to the right length, but you can do this within Tracker by using the two black arrows in the bottom of the screen and sliding them left and right to adjust the start and end point of your video.
Okay, now we're going to show you two methods of tracking. One of them is the auto tracking and one of them is the manual tracking. So before we start, we like to set a frame of reference by creating an axis. So here we created our axis around the center of the yellow ball, which is part of the collision. One of the most important things in Tracker is setting a distance reference point so you can create your plot of data. So in our case, what we did is we measured beforehand the distance between these two red cards. As you can see, we're going to mark that distance by using something called the Create a Calibration Stick tool. So as you can see here, press the Calibration Stick tool, and you're given this this template tool that you can drag like you see here. So you drag one end to one of the cards, which is what we measured, and the other end to the other card. We measured this distance to be 46 centimeters, and you can change the length, as you can see, right up here. So you don't need to actually keep this tool visible. What you can do after that is click over here and unclick its visibility. So it's no longer in your way during the collision. So in order to track your two masses as they move through the video, you need to create 2 points of mass. So as you can see here, you select the point of mass option, and it creates this mass A. Now what you want to do is hold Command and Shift, and click on the location of mass A. So in this case, it will be the yellow ball. And I'll just put it in the center over here. As you can see, it created a point for mass A, also shown on the graph here, and its position is actually displayed below. So I'm just going to go and rename mass A to the yellow ball. And then I'm also going to create mass B, well, mass A now, and I'm going to Command-Shift click it to be the center of the red ball. So as you can see here, the position is showed again, and I'm going to rename it to the red ball. Okay, so now we're going to proceed with the auto tracking tool. All you do is move your cursor up here and select this pink icon. It brings you to the auto tracker interface. As you can see here, the object you want to track is referred to as the target. There's also a scroll bar up here with the red, yellow ball, and all the other objects we've initiated since the session begun. And what I want to emphasize is that when you search for this object as it's being tracked, you want to pick either you want to look at the x-axis only or both axes of movement. In our case, we want to deselect the x-axis because there is a bit of a y component, and we want to ensure that tracking is accurate. So now I'm going to proceed to create something called a keyframe. And in order to create a keyframe, as you can see here, you simply Shift-Control-Click the video area of interest. So in this case, it's going to be the yellow ball. And what I'm going to do, in order to select this part of the yellow ball, I'm going to zoom to about 200%. And now I'm going to start the Control-Shift-Click. As you can see, my cursor changed to an area, and I'm going to pick an area that's more yellow than black. approximately somewhere around here. As you can see, the template has the yellow ball and the black background of the table. Now, what I want to do is simply track this area as the video proceeds. So I'm going to zoom back out and press the search button. As you can see, the position of the ball is tracked, and when the red ball makes contact with it, its motion continues to be tracked. Now the video is complete, and I'm simply going to close this. And as you can see, the motion of the yellow ball is shown in this graph here. It was stationary until about half a second, and then proceeded uniform motion in the X and Y direction.
Now we're going to show you how to do the manual tracking of an object in Tracker. This will come in handy when the auto tracking is just not working with you. This could happen due to the quality of the film, contrast between the object you're trying to track in the background, and other factors. So over here we have our red ball, and we have a point mass that we already set previously, and we showed you how to do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to scale it to fit. I want to have a good clear view of the entire image throughout the whole collision. When I hit the shift button, you can see that my cursor changes. This allows me to track a point on the ball. So I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to click on the ball, and you can see that the video automatically moves one step forward. You just keep repeating this process again and again, and this will result in data points being collected about your ball. You can see the data points compile here on the right, giving your X and Y direction and where the ball is on the grid that we have set up here in terms of X and Y. And it also has the time set over here. You can look over here on the right and you can see that there's the motion of the ball is linear in the start, and then as it collided with the other ball, its change in X slowed down significantly. However, it is also linear.
Alright, so we're just going to finish up with a few of the analysis things you can do in Tracker. And in order to do that, you simply press the view option up here and the data tool where it says analyze, ... So essentially with the analysis tool, what you can do is you see this giant plot for the red ball, for instance. And some of the basic things that you can do include descriptive statistics. So when you press the statistics here, you get things like the mean, the standard deviation, just all the standard sort of statsy aspects of the tracking software. Additionally, one of the most useful things you're going to want is actually the curve fitting tool. So what you do is you select this curve fitter, and it provides you with this line, this trend line, which describes all of the data. So as you can see here, it's a bit messy for us because we have a sort of a linear looking trend here, and then a decreasing trend here. If we were to trim it for time, we could just isolate for this linear trend and essentially find our slope value, which are the parameters here. So as you can see, the fit equation is x equals a times t plus b, which means a is our slope. So in this case, the slope of our line is negative 5.29 centimeters per second, or per 0.01 second. So now I'm just going to move on to some of the vectors that you can create in this program. So you can easily create the velocity vectors, which is actually what we were showing with the arrows in the points. But if you wanted to analyze the momentum, what you would have to do is change the mass of the ball. So in this case, we'll use 0.155 grams, which is the mass of an average pool ball, or kilograms, sorry, which is the mass of the average pool ball, and essentially create momentum vectors based on that. And simply all it does is multiply the velocity vectors by the mass if you need that. Additionally, there's an acceleration vector option.
Another great thing about Tracker is the fact that it provides you with the data of time and your distance of x. You created a grid over here at the start of your tracker process, and having 0, the origin right here, and you have positive x, negative x, and from there you can determine the distance traveled by the ball and the time taken to travel that distance. And using that, you can find change of velocity and average velocity. A good thing about this is that you can take this data over here and use it to apply these skills and the equations taught to you in class to do a manual analysis rather than having Tracker do the analysis for you. This is quite helpful to refine your skills and build upon what you've learned, and is always an option when using Tracker.